I'm starting to prepare for this Versetta stone. We have 1/2 inch plywood all behind there, and it has house wrap, so that is the waterproofing. However, if you take 30-pound felt or just some black tar paper, put it up there, then along those edges and everything, you'll never be able to see like white behind your stone. So even though I didn't really need this for waterproofing since I already had house wrap, I put it up anyway. I got my metal trim up. This is gonna have a metal ceiling, so my stone will die right into that. Got my starter strips on, which are just right there and right there. And now above the door, I always take an angle. So just buy a piece of 1/8 angle. It's an inch and I think this is an 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. Drill some holes in it, paint it black, and that way my stone can rest on it. And you'll see that, but I'm going to put that up right now. Alright, so now that's up there, we can go ahead and start running our stone. So here is a piece of starter strip, and then this stone has a little lip, so it actually slides on there just like this. This gets screwed to the wall or nailed, and then that first piece sits in there just like that. So we got our first 2 pieces up. I haven't screwed them in. I'm going to check with the level to make sure they're level. And then we can make some reference lines if we want, or just keep checking across so when they get above the door they match. Alright guys, so to cut this, I just use my miter saw with a segmented diamond blade. I also put one on my table saw for any rip cuts. Obviously, if you're going to be doing this a bunch, they make special saws that you can
buy just for this purpose. But for a small project like this, it doesn't hurt to use your miter saw or your table saw. So Versetta stone makes universal corners, but in a situation like mine, when you're going up each side of a door and that space isn't very wide, you can't have finished edges on both sides. So what you can do is you can buy some Rust-Oleum textured paint that matches your stone the closest, and then you can texture those ends, and it gives you a really nice look. And that's what I'm doing right now. When you're spraying those cut ends, you want to face the finished side of the panel down so you don't get any overspray on it, and then just kind of angle your spray down, and it works out really well.
Alright guys, for this particular porch, it had the standard A-frame that I do that is 45-degree pitch. And I do that for when I'm cutting my metal, all of my rafters, and it also helps me out when I'm doing the Versetta stone, so I can just set my miter saw to a 45-degree, cut it, and then I use my angle grinder with a cutting wheel to finish off the cut. So it works out pretty good when you use a 12-12 pitch or 45-degree angle. You can do one of two things on your top rows. You can glue them, which is kind of what they recommend, but I don't like to do that because if I ever have to take it down, then it's stuck there and I can't get it. So I like to use stainless steel trim screws. You can't use a hammer drill to drill a hole through or you will bust it. So what I found is if you use a regular drill with a hammer drill bit, you can drill a hole through it pretty easily. So you just, one thing you want to do is however you decide to try it, take a scrap piece and test it out before you drill it on the piece you want. Because if the method you're using isn't working, then obviously you need to try something different. Alright guys, so we just got done putting this Versetta stone up. Kind of told you the most important part is starting nice and level. And then you got to keep checking that as you go up. This is Versetta stone, and any of these products like this are not going to be absolutely perfect. So as you keep working up, you got to keep checking level. You might have to knock some burrs off. It can be frustrating at times, but it's definitely a DIY friendly project, and the end result's always amazing. So just keep that in mind as you're doing it. Make sure you keep checking that you're staying nice and level, and I think you're going to end up getting good results. If you saw me, I use spray paint. Whenever I cut an end, it's going to be at the edge. I'll just kind of lightly dust it with a color that I think kind of blends in really well, and it just kind of hides that cut versus just leaving it bare. You don't have to do anything, but I choose to do that. So hopefully you guys found this enjoyable. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them. Thanks for watching. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next video.